Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomeizer. Here's another video to help you practice decoding multi-syllabic words, reading big words, all right? Very important when you're headed through elementary school, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, on into middle school. And I've got 2 rounds for you today. Let's get started with the first round. I'm about to show you a word, and I want you to read this word right out loud, okay? Here it is. All right, think you got it? What's this word? All right, the top word is intrepid. The bottom word is interpret. These words are very similar. And it's possible when you went to read intrepid, you might have thought or even said interpret. Okay, if you read both of these words, that's great. I want you to keep watching. This is a spelling lesson for you. But if you were thinking or even said interpret when you read the top word intrepid, we're going to compare these words now and help you with your decoding. All right, if you read this word quickly, your brain might scan that it begins, both of these words begin with in, and there's a T and a P and an ending, perhaps D sound. Now, D can sometimes sound like a T. That's why they're both blue at the end. All right, but there's a big difference. If you look at the middle, there's an R after the T in intrepid. If you look at the bottom, the R it's also after the T, but there's an E in between, creating the R-controlled sound So down below, you can see the syllable terp. Go Terps. And up top is the syllable trep. All right, so if you read interpret, then you reversed the R. Reversing the R is a very common behavior when you're reading words, especially when that R is somewhere in the middle or towards the end. And speaking of towards the end, up top, the ending syllable is PID, PID, but down below, there's another R, okay? And it's also very common to insert or add an R where it doesn't exist in a word when decoding, all right? So reversing in the R and inserting an R, 2 very common behaviors that can help you, that can lead you to misread a word. All right, so spend a little time looking at these highlighted letters. And let's move on to the syllables. Both of these words are root words, all right? There are no prefixes or suffixes. They're both 3-syllable words too. So you can see the stressed syllable is in red in the middle. Intrepid, interpret. Now, before we move on to the next round, intrepid is an adjective and it means fearless or adventurous. Interpret is a verb and it means to explain the meaning of something. We're mostly familiar with using the word interpret when someone speaks a different language and we need someone, a third person, who can interpret that language for us in English. All right, so interpret. Interpreters do that job. They explain the meaning of other languages. Now, putting these words aside, I've got 2 sentences. I want you to hit the pause button, and here are 2 sentences of extra practice. Hit the pause button, take your time. There's a second round coming up next. All right, the second round. Just like before, I'm about to show you a word. I want you to read this right out loud. Here you go. Move that out of the way. All right, you think you got it? What's this word? Okay, the top word is perception. The bottom word is prescription. All right, over at the pharmacy, get a prescription. Now, just like before, it's possible, because these words look so similar, that you may have thought or even read prescription when you went to read the top word perception. All right, and if you did, I want you to watch. We're going to go over these words and I'm going to show you how similar they are and what your brain might have done if you did that. If you read both of these words correctly, keep watching for a spelling lesson. So Here's what's similar. They both start with a P. There's a C sound in the middle, and that C can sound like an S. And then you can see the consonant pair PT, pt, and TION at the end. So the ending is completely the same. It's in the beginning where things get a little interesting. So let's take a look at the beginning. There's an R after the P in prescription, all right? But up top, there's an E between that P and R, creating the R-controlled sound, So you can see up top, per. Down below, it's pr. We don't have a vowel yet. It's pr. Up top is per. The E comes after the R. So now we have the prefix pre, which is easy to remember because the word prefix has pre and it means before. Now in the middle of this word, we've got to look at this C. C has two sounds, all right? I like to hold up the C in sign language. Does that look like a C or should I use the other hand? Let's go with this one. It has two sounds, the soft C, oh, just like the cat, soft C, so soft. Or a hard C, makes me think of Lego hands doing karate. Ko, 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 ko. All right, so if you look down below, that SC, I guess this is where it gets really confusing because SC makes two sounds. This, SC can make an S sound by itself, like a soft C. But that C can do both. And this C down below is going to make the hard C sound, where up top it's soft C, perception. This C is making a K sound because it also has an R attached. So that consonant blend there, or that cluster, C, SCR, that C is a K sound, scr. So that's the big difference between these two words. So you can see the syllable script, and up top you see the syllable sep, because of that soft C. Now, the root words, perception actually comes from a very old word from the Latin language, perceptio. All right, we don't really use perceptio, but you can see it's most of the word perception. In English, we're familiar with the word perceive. All right, perception comes from the word perceive, which means to understand. All right, that's a verb. And we're going to drop the IVE and turn it into perception by adding, not only adding a P, but the suffix tion, which is a French suffix, shun. You really got to pay attention to tion because it doesn't look the way it sounds, so it's really hard to spell. But that's where the word perception comes from perceive. And now it's an abstract noun. Perception is a thing. You can't really hold it and see it and say, hey, look at this, but it's abstract. Now, prescription comes from the old root scribe. It's a Latin root and it means to write. We're familiar with scribe from the words describe or inscribe, and prescription comes from prescribe. Now, prescribe is a verb and it means to direct or to give directions in writing. So if you think about your doctor, before you ever get your medicine, a doctor will write on a piece of paper, or now they use computers, but good old-fashioned doctors would write your prescription and you would have to take it to the pharmacy. So it literally means to write before. In that context, they write before you get your medicine. So that's one way to remember prescription. It means to write before in that context. And then from prescribe, we drop that B and turn it into a P, just like perception. And we covered this before. It's the same ending, prescription. So I'm just about to wrap up here. The red syllable is the stressed syllable. Both of these words are 3-syllable words: perception, prescription. We're going to put these two words aside, and I've got a phrase here. I want you to hit pause again. Take your time. Here's some extra practice. Now, that's going to do it for today. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Facebook too at the Fluency Awesomeizer. Have mom or dad do that, and they can look in my photos for over 200 different reading practice examples that I've published in the last several months. And since you might be at home for a little while, virtual school at home, it makes great practice. All right, thanks for watching. Tune in real soon for another video.